So I guess we have to just do, mainstream media style repetitive mind control, because that's the only way people remember stuff. I mean, that's why people believed all the Russia hoax nonsense, was because the mainstream media basically just repeated it nonstop for how many years. It didn't matter whether it was true or not. People just believed it because of the repetition. And I think Richard Grove just covered that, actually, that repetition is a kind of a technique of mind control. Yeah, I think their memory holding stuff by the internet is turning into a giant censorship engine. That's the sad part, is that stuff is getting definitely memory hold. That's why you have to have books. I mean, you cannot remember or know any of this stuff without books. All right, so again, we're kind of working our way up through history. I usually like to do it this way, where we work our way from history up to the present day. Now, we were talking about this early stage of Elizabethan spy networks, acting and all of that. Globe theater, the world's a globe. There's a lot of esoteric stuff in Shakespeare. By the way, we've never actually done a big Shakespearean esoteric breakdown. We should probably do that someday. But I think, the public is so uneducated that the more I focus on these really interesting academic topics, nobody watches it. Nobody reads it. The internet is dying. Just go to books. Yeah, this is really what we've been saying the whole time, right? You got to have books. And they're going to continue. And you can't have these stupid PDFs or electronic files either, because, as we've already seen, they're going to start censoring the electronic texts in terms of the Western canon. They've called for the banning of Tolkien, the banning of James Bond, the banning of C.S. Lewis too, I think. And even the banning of Huxley, even though Huxley was one of their own, they still have called to ban his books, which is bizarre, but 1984 probably too. But what they're going to do is start altering the e-versions. And Richard Grove was prophetic, because he predicted that when they introduced the Kindle. Remember, Richard said about, 10 or more years ago, that the word Kindle is telling you Fahrenheit 451 book burning. They're going to Kindle your actual books, and you're going to have to rely on e-copies that have been censored. Now, they're already doing this with movies, too. We're not going to talk about censorship. This is just a little sidetrack, because somebody made a comment that made me think of this. They're already putting up disclaimers about movies. I'm hearing tell of movies that are already having scenes deleted. TV shows are having scenes deleted. I mean, even just innocuous stuff like The Office is too edgy. This is crazy, right? Stuff from like 10 years ago, 15 years ago is too edgy. And yeah, here's the weird part. At the same time, the most degenerate stuff is supposed to be accepted. Think about the moral and logical contradiction involved in that. It's bad to have certain words that hurt people, but it's not bad to actually literally harm children. That's how crazy this stuff is. When we go into upside down world, the inversion, as we've talked about for how many years. Yeah, this is why you're not going to be able to trust new books. I thought about this too when I was going to Barnes and Noble the other day, and I was like, how do we know they're not already censoring and editing out stuff in books? If you remember in the Day tapes, remember the Richard Day tapes? They said back in 1969 that they would already at that time go out and start removing books from libraries. And as people have no reading comprehension, reading skills, as people get continually dumbed down, the masses aren't even going to read anyway. They already don't read. So things are getting crazy. They're getting weird.